What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! It may be May, but June is on the way. We got FlightReacts back at it again. Cops discover a mass killer's secret hideout. You guys know what I'm already about to say, man. It's May. It's almost halfway throughout the year, man. Some of y'all, since the start of the year, we started reacting to crime videos, have said and continue to tell me that you're going to stop doing that dirt. I'm afraid to say that some of y'all are lying to me, man. And it's disrespectful. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You right there. Yeah, you. What are you waiting for, bro? You trying to throw away your life? You trying to throw away your freedom? You trying to make your mom sad for the rest of her life? Your dad sad and disappointed the rest of life? What are you doing? Find you something that you legally passionate about and keep it pushing, man. This technology keeps getting better. Whatever you're doing out there, you will get caught, whether if it's now, 6 months later, or a year from now. Dr. Insanity, let's check it out.
Open right here. It is not normal.
This is Sarah Evans. She's just found the body of her good friend, Benny King, covered in blood inside his own home.
Damn.
There's either there's all over the wall. I'm gonna guess the ladder.
The killer, however, was nowhere to be seen, and every witness they had blamed somebody different.
All I know, he was a skinny guy, about 6 foot, 6'5", black.
The young guy, he's a young white guy.
Did you talk to her down there? She's been taking all his money.
Weeks later, another murder happened across town in exactly the same fashion. They now had a serial killer on their hands.
What's going on?
They had to do everything they could to figure out who it was and where they were hiding out before they killed again.
What? Serial killer on the loose. Get your snacks, get your popcorn, man. Catch a vibe. FlightReacts.
It all started on April 8th, when Akron police received this phone call.
Akron, Ohio.
Akron 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Oh my God. What happened?
What's the problem, ma'am?
Ma'am, is he breathing?
I don't know. Oh my God.
Immediately, police rushed to the scene.
Okay. You wanna go hang out over there for us so you can have room to work here?
Following footage blurred.
The ground floor had been ransacked, but it was the scene upstairs that had terrified Sarah. Upstairs lay her good friend, 69-year-old Benny King, and cops would find that he'd been stabbed 33 times.
Bro. What the heck? Bro, like, what happened, bro? It's one thing when you commit a homicide, bro, and you shoot somebody, but bro, when you stab somebody that many times, bro, that either had to be personal or something like crazy is going on with the person, bro. 33 times? Why that amount? Why that exact number? Like, what happened?
Injuries, I don't know. I have not touched him. All I did was touch him to see if he was stiff, but he's stiff and cold.
You said you didn't touch him, but you see the touch.
So we're calling it out, I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna move him. For me. Okay.
Initially, the cops had no idea what could have possibly happened to Benny, but as they explored the house more, a clear picture would slowly be painted of exactly what had happened. His bed was absolutely soaked in blood, and his walls were covered in it too. Police presumed that Benny had been attacked in his bedroom before he crawled into the hallway, begging for his life, where the killer finished the job. The majority of the cuts were to his head, neck, and upper body, but there were a few wounds on his hands as well, indicating that Benny had courageously tried to fight back. The police don't know this yet, but in just a few weeks, this exact scene would be found across town in an identical murder. For now, though, what police found in the kitchen was even more bizarre.
Any ID or nothing? Can't find anything?
I didn't
dig around too much there. I'm really not going to. Well, because the lady who called and said that all of his cabinets in the kitchen are open, and she checks on him on a regular basis, and she's like, I don't know why that would be like that. Like someone was listening or looking for something. Like all the cabinets here are open. I mean, who does this?
Chad, what's y'all predictions,
Oddly, though,
man? What y'all think
nothing
happened?
seemed to have been displaced or stolen. Something very strange is going on.
Relationship
so the cops
stuff.
turned to the person that discovered Benny's body,
Robbery.
Sarah Evans, who had some crucial information that would start to spiral this case into a complex mystery.
Was it the back door that you found open?
No, the front. When I come back to 11:30, this door was locked.
Okay.
And when I called you, was when I come back up, the front door was unlocked.
Okay, so you were actually here this morning at
11:30.
11:30, and you spoke to him then?
No, I didn't see him. I thought he would lay down, take a nap from drinking.
And then you came back a little bit after 1, and that's when you found the door open.
Yeah, it was unlocked.
Okay.
The back door is unlocked too.
Does he usually keep his doors locked?
Yeah. So I said he locked it, he goes to take a nap, but as soon as he gets up in the morning, he unlocks it.
Was the dog out when you got here?
No, the dog was in there.
Okay.
Wow.
There when I come in the
Sad,
door.
man.
And that's why I knew when I seen the stand over and the dog in the chair.
Detectives then asked Sarah if she could think of
You gotta
anyone
keep in
who
mind, this dude was 69 years old getting stabbed 33 times, bro.
had any issues with Benny. That's when she mentioned two brothers, Justin and Johnny, who were often seen visiting Benny. Sarah also told them that they had ongoing problems with Benny and were sometimes seen fighting with each other. In fact, their most recent argument resulted in Benny chasing them off his property with a shotgun. Justin also had problems with drugs and was always on the lookout for a way to make money fast. So it's rumored that he'd stolen something of Benny's and pawned it, causing all these arguments. The drug addiction, history of exploiting Benny, as well as the gun incident just days prior, meant that police figured they finally had their suspects. But that's when Sarah mentioned a suspicious vehicle that had been spotted outside Benny's house right around the time of his death.
That was up through here earlier today, this morning, I guess. It sped away. And come back. I know it was earlier this morning. And come back. It sped away again. He said it was a younger white guy driving.
Who said that?
It's not a guy. I can't tell you because he's in trouble. He got worse. You know?
Okay. Well, what's his warrant for?
I have no idea. So I'm just giving you the information I was given.
Okay.
This seems like vital information, but the only guy that saw it is quite literally on the run from the cops without stating warrants. So the officer tries to see if he can strike a deal.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a detective coming. Okay. I understand you guys' friend has some warrants. If it's possible that we can guarantee we're not arresting, not doing anything, you guys can go ask him if you want to talk to us then.
Ordinarily, a fugitive would never agree to a deal like this, but because Benny was such a nice and respected guy in the neighborhood, he comes outside just a few seconds later to tell the cops everything he knows.
How's it going, brother?
I was out here on my friend's porch, and I saw this goldish, older style Hummer, big body Hummer, speed away from over here. I
remember Hummers with the cars back then.
Like gunshots or anything.
Okay.
But
How about what time was that?
Yeah, someone in the chat said they'll just arrest him later. If he has warrants out and shit.
No, it had to be like,
I was up here at 11:30.
okay, it had to be about 10:30 or something.
Okay, so between 10 and
Because
11.
then I heard her screaming about something, and all this happened.
Okay.
Then she discovered that. I've not seen that vehicle.
You've never seen that car around here or nothing? Did you happen to see who was driving?
A white male,
Okay.
blondish, short hair, like
Short.
kind of crew cut like yours.
Okay.
I would say
Sound
anywhere
like
from
yours.
his mid-20s to early 30s. He sped around the corner so fast his tires were squealing.
Okay.
What the hell?
If the car had shown up around 12 that night, that's right in between Sarah's two visits to Benny's house, the exact window where Benny was murdered. And with how the car was allegedly driving,
Straw,
it
what
really
up?
does seem as though this Hummer has something to do with Benny's murder. They just need to figure out who was inside. And conveniently, a neighbor overheard this conversation and told the police that he knows a man in the neighborhood that drives a Hummer exactly like the one described. Unfortunately, he doesn't know the guy's real name, only his nickname,
Finko, what up?
You're just assuming Jay Bird being connected to a Hummer.
Correct.
You don't know.
Right. I don't have any personal knowledge about that, but I know that I've seen him many times with
The Hummer?
Hummer.
What color?
Roughly that color. It's like dusty gold like that.
So you've seen Jaybird driving this golden
Before, yeah.
Okay.
It sounded like this Jaybird was a prime suspect, but nobody on the scene right now was able to tell them his real name. But before they're able to figure it out, they're confronted with a fourth suspect, and it was the last person that anyone had expected. This is Benny's daughter, Patricia, and as soon as she showed up on the scene, she seemed to already have her mind made up about who the killer really was.
Obviously, he passed away.
Did you talk to bitch down there?
I remember you from the other day, dude. I'm just gonna call you W. W with the gifted tear. I'm not reading that name, bro. No, sir.
Let me say
Change it
something.
now.
That lady down there has been paying his bills, and she's been taking all his money and not paying on his bills. So the gas bill I have not yet paid.
We don't have a bill.
So I don't have a bill to send because she's not giving him the bills. She's keeping them. She is writing on the receipt what she is supposed to have paid versus what she really paid. And this has been going on for over 3 months. So she's been working on for 3 months. He's never had a bill that he never paid in full until this lady down the street decided that she was going to help him. She took upon herself to help him. And that's her way to get her drug fix, is by taking his money.
That's right. She's talking
Bro,
about Sarah.
You gotta be all types of down bad, man, because this is like the second straight crime vid we reacted to where it was a situation where somebody in a couple relationship was taking like their money they're supposed to be paying for the bills and using it for like drugs and other thing, bro. Like, bro, how down bad do you have to be and addicted to drugs you gotta be, bro, to be like, hey, bro, I'd rather be homeless. I'd rather not have my light working. I'd rather not have, you know what I'm saying, electric going on in the crib. So I can just be high for fucking an hour, 2 hour tops, whatever you're taking. Like, bro, get some help.
Apparently, since she's taken over paying Benny's bills, they've all either been late or underpaid. Patricia is certain that she's been stealing money from Benny this way, and in fact, she thinks she might have stolen even more, too.
And his money better still be in there because I know exactly where it's at. It's in a cabinet in his kitchen and a coffee cup.
Stay above the influence, y'all, man. Get your education, man. Drink water, exercise, man. Stay above the influence.
I can come?
Yeah. Usually, yeah, the body's not in there no more.
Imagine doing drugs in 2025.
Like this.
Was it in there?
No, it was in a container like this.
So you know it's stash box.
It was in here. So whoever did this,
No, Tree is not the same
exactly
category. If you fried, enjoy.
And she's one, and Johnny, those are the two that come down here. Those two are the suspects.
You know what hardcore drugs I'm
telling
talking
you,
about.
there's nobody else. Them two.
They always have those few slick ones be like, oh
Everything
man, what
is
about
starting to fall into
the
place.
za?
It now makes sense why
No,
the
nigga.
cabinets were flung open. Whoever killed Benny was looking for money. And that's not even the biggest revelation the cops are about to have. Not even close. Currently, they have 4 suspects, and any one of them could be their killer. Each one of these could take days to interview and process, but with every hour that passes, the killer is getting closer to finding their next victim. Luckily, after talking to another neighbor, they were given some vital information that cut down their search just a little bit and sent them in the direction of one man in particular. They were able to discover that
That's just
Justin, one of the
recreational.
suspected brothers from earlier, had a nickname, Jaybird. The money, the gun, the drugs, the Hummer, everything.
Brother, just let the hair go. You see, bro, y'all niggas in the chat, I know the majority of y'all be saying things like that, be trolling, without a doubt, so I troll back. But bro, don't be saying that I be balding. This is balding, my nigga. This is the definition of balding. Like, bro, what is this, bro? He literally has 8 pieces of hair. Let it go, bro.
Everything was lining up. And in the cops' minds, this could definitely be their killer.
Please.
So to ensure they had all the information possible, they started interviewing
I don't
his
think
brother,
Turkey can save
Johnny,
that, man.
so that when they got around to Justin, they'd have no trouble getting him to confess.
Oh, hell, probably afternoon, I took my dog over there so you could see him. Me and my wife did. I had her take the dog around back.
CANT, Damari, what
I
up?
brought the dog in for a couple minutes so he could pet it. He got pissed off about something, so we left.
What did he get pissed off about?
He did.
What did he get pissed? What was he pissed
Because that little
about?
dog he's got, he don't like no other dogs. You know what I mean? Being around his little dog because he's afraid the dog's gonna eat him.
Do you go over and see him quite often?
Yep, sure do. Go over and drink a beer with him just about every day.
So you last saw him yesterday about 7:30 in the evening, or?
Yeah. What's this all about?
He's dead.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
No, I'm not.
Oh my God. I gotta go down there, dude.
The cops figured this reaction to be genuine, and as they talked to him more, they became certain that Johnny didn't know anything about the crime. But that doesn't mean his brother is innocent. In fact, what Johnny is about to say actually makes the cops even more suspicious.
Who's Justin?
Brother.
Okay, would he have seen him later than you had?
No, he ain't been a lot around down there.
If somebody said they saw him down there, that wouldn't be true?
I don't know. When I go down there, my brother ain't there.
Usually, Johnny and Justin would go and see Benny every morning at around sunset, and that's been the case for the last 3 years since his wife passed away. Johnny can't think of a reason for Justin to be down there so early, especially not on his own without telling him. Johnny was even able to provide some extra details about the disagreement they had recently, proving to the cops just how heated it had gotten between them.
He told him, look, get away from my house, don't you ever come back again. He said, I've loaned you money 4 or 5 times on this bull junk stuff that you bring me. I'm on a fixed income here. I can't just keep giving.
He physically pushed him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
By this point, the cops had already heard all they needed to hear. 19 hours later, they managed to track down Justin and would bring him in for interrogation. Justin was left in the interrogation room for around 45 minutes before the interrogation began. This is a tactic used, among many others, to make Justin feel as uncomfortable as possible.
Hey, Justin. You are arrested for those warrants we talked about.
Damn.
You got
Y'all in the chat was right. They
on
just
you.
didn't get them later.
I know him. What is your relationship with him? Can you kind of take us through that?
My brother, he was more or less like a stepfather, pretty much.
How so?
Should have stick and give me $1 or a cigarette or something to eat, or you know what I mean. I lived next door to him there for 4 or 5 months. Even I had a warrant, which I went and did my time and got it all taken care of. You know what I mean? If you're asking, did I kill him? I did not.
Seems rather straightforward from Justin's perspective. He had exactly the same nice things to say about Benny and doesn't seem stressed out or anxious about being here. He's leaning forwards towards the detective instead of instinctively pulling away. He's maintaining eye contact when he can, and his tone seems deliberate and genuine. Everything about how he's presenting himself is relaxed, as though he's just trying to give the detectives what they need and get out of there. But unfortunately, just saying you didn't murder someone isn't enough for the cops, so they decide to confront him with the evidence they've gathered against him.
So we talked to everybody in the neighborhood except for one person that they said he banned from the house.
Was me.
So,
Yeah.
is that over money or what was that about?
Yeah, it was over money, but no, I was with my brother at his house. I told you he was drinking beer with. I had to take a shit, okay.
He told me about it, don't tell me. Sorry. You say anything about a shotgun?
Yeah, he did. He told my brother, he's like, I should take my shotgun down there and pump a couple of the twids in his ass. He said that, brother.
I guess.
He never had a problem giving me money or anything like that. He pulled it right out of his pocket. He was a good guy. I cared for him as a dad.
Justin was banned from the house and there was an argument over money, but it doesn't seem like he held that against Benny at all. But the detectives find this strange. All the signs pointed towards Justin being the killer, but now he seems like he had no issues with Benny at all. But they've still got their main piece of evidence though. His Hummer was seen at Benny's house on the morning of the murder. That had to mean he was lying this whole time, right?
You drove or used to drive a Hummer? Hummer? You ever drive a Hummer?
Yo.
No. Did you ever work out?
I ain't gonna lie. Yo, this someone in the chat said it already, like tweaker vibes and shit. He definitely gives me those. Like, his reactions to certain shit.
No. If
Like,
you
what was
watch
so
any
funny about
interrogation
that?
where a guilty suspect is confronted with a piece of valid
Nah, he
evidence,
ain't off that
their
duck
reaction
back.
is
Duck back
always
don't do that
very
to you.
stiff and short. They try and deflect it immediately by saying no and explaining exactly why that could never be the case without showing a hint of emotion. Justin is an
Ryan, what up?
ex-convict that works various handyman jobs jumping from place to place. He doesn't need to explain why he doesn't own a $40,000 SUV. His facial expression when he's asked, alongside the way he laughs and jokes naturally about the concept, is enough to tell the detectives he was telling the truth. They still didn't want to discount him completely as a suspect, but they did figure that if he wasn't the killer, then he might at least be able to help them out. So they asked who he thought might have been responsible, and his answer was someone they were very familiar with, Sarah.
She knew. She took Ben's bank card to the bank, food stamps. That's what my brother was telling me on the phone the other day. And he thinks that she might have had something to do with it. So if I point a finger, I'd probably check her for sure.
Of course, he's talking about Sarah, and he's accusing her of exactly the same thing Patricia did earlier. And in fact, John had even mentioned this in his
everybody
interview
accusing
earlier
each
that
other.
day too.
Which one is it?
Anybody in that neighborhood or anybody have any problems with him or give him a rough time?
What you call it down the street there.
Who's that?
I'm trying to think of her name. She lives down at the end of the road. She'd go over there, take his money for bills, go up to the corner store, and was supposed to pay on all his bills.
What time is it for y'all right now that's tuned into the stream?
She ain't been
It's
paying
Wednesday
the full
night.
amount on your bills. She's been only
10:58
paying
where I'm at.
half. And I went over there one day. He said, after all I've done for that bitch.
Did they reconcile at all, or?
No.
Got 11, 10:58, 10:58, 1:58,
house. Don't
midnight.
ever ask me for another dime.
1:58,
Quickly, the cops are
11:58.
starting to realize that Sarah wasn't the
Wherever you watch the
wonderful,
stream, you a
trusted
W.
member of the community that they'd assumed she was. Now,
8
three
a.m.
people have claimed
France.
that she was exploiting Benny's trust to steal his money, and all are saying that she could be the killer. To make matters worse for her, she's also
0:58
the only
a.m.
person left that
Really, bro, 0:58 a.m. You think I'm gonna fall for that in 2025?
knew about his money stash in the coffee
12:58.
can. Things are getting extremely complex, and the cops have already worked tirelessly for days now. And the problem is, the longer this investigation goes on for, the longer the killer is on the loose, meaning the higher the chances that they might kill again. So now, 6 days after Benny's murder, detectives bring in Sarah for an interview. It was imperative that they either catch the killer right now or get new information that brings them straight to them. If they don't, then they'll have no suspects, no leads,
Shaw, what up?
and a murderer at large.
That's a sketch of the murder.
We know that you call 911.
What's up, the Raging Bull?
Recording, so listen to that. We understand that you would pay his bills. Tell us about that.
Well, that's where we had a dispute. I went to pay his bill. One time I had to pay $40 on it. I needed to borrow that. He said, go ahead, did not remember. I paid him back this $40. That's why I was still wrong.
That was, you brought that.
Paper Duck, what up?
Yeah.
In the interview, similarly to Justin, Sarah doesn't deny the disagreement between them and fully admits that she took some money from him to pay his bills. But again, they seem to make up and become friends again. This time, though, the detectives aren't buying it. Not when so much is on the line.
We're hearing two different sides of what we're talking about. We're hearing what you're telling us, but we're hearing from his daughter and what his best friend's telling us. Now, we've been hearing that he banned you from coming to his house. He didn't want you handling his bills or anything like
TX
that.
with the gifted.
So the owner of the store called him and said, hey, she's scamming you. So you're telling us that is not true.
That's not true. That is not true. I went up there. I didn't go up there until I had the $40 and I had to pay them.
Sarah is saying that all she took from Benny was $40, and she even paid it back. It'd just been blown out of proportion as she wasn't able to get in contact with Patricia and Johnny to clear her name again. It's suspicious, but the detectives aren't going to get anything more out of her on this front. so they decide to ask her some more background questions. Usually these don't end up solving the case, but this time, one of their questions provoked an answer that seriously piqued their interest.
Fire blaze.
There's a lady there that was smoking. She had like salt, pepper hair, long hair. That's not your. Let me ask you this: it's not your daughter. That she's not.
My daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. That's your daughter. She doesn't live there with you.
Ivan, thanks for the raid.
Did any of them live with you?
The audio we received from the police department is censored here, but Sarah tells the cops about her other kid, a boy named Jason, a boy who had just gotten out of prison.
Wherever. He's got out of prison and stuff, so.
When did he get out of prison?
This September.
What was he in jail for?
Robbery.
Was your son capable of something?
Oh God, I pray not. No. I would pray not.
According to the detectives, when they asked this question, Sarah tensed up and seemed extremely closed off. She inhales sharply and her whole body jumps when they bring up this possibility. Sheesh. As far as the detectives are concerned, whether intentionally or not, she just told them there is a possibility. That's all they're able to focus on, and it all makes sense, too. She knew about the coffee can full of money, so what if she'd accidentally mentioned that to Jason? He'd just gotten out of prison for robbery, and it'd make complete sense if he saw Benny as an easy target and decided to try and steal his cash. That could even explain the Hummer, too. It was a nice car that Jason might have jacked and used to get in and out of the scene quickly. Instantly, the hunt for Jason began, but no matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't track him down. But that's when some new
with the
information
raid,
came to
thank
light. Information that would change everything.
Here we go.
An inmate of the prison Jason was staying at had contacted police after hearing about the crime, claiming that he knew who the perpetrator was, and promised to reveal it to them in an interview.
So I'm told you told one of the deputies you got some information about a homicide?
That's about the old guy that got stabbed. Yeah, his mother found the body, and then I heard him and his mom arguing over the phone. It wasn't supposed to go that far.
Damn.
Because she always going over the house, cleaning it up when she been doing that for years. And everybody in the neighborhood know they did it, just nobody.
Appreciate you, Nightwing.
I don't know why.
The inmate said he'd heard Jason and Sarah talking about the murder on the phone after Jason thought he'd hung up. The cops now had no doubt in their minds who their new number one suspect was.
It might just be Jason, y'all.
And by this point in the investigation, it's likely Jason's cash was starting to run out. They had to find him as soon as possible, before he got the chance to kill again. But, unfortunately, they were already too late.
No! Damn, this dude's going on a damn spree, bro.
Hi, my name's George Bayless. I'm down in Florida now, but my father's still up in Akron. We haven't been able to get a hold of him, and some of his neighbors got a hold of me today, too, and said they haven't seen him since Saturday. They said there were some people over there they didn't really recognize.
Alright, so we have it in. We're gonna get someone over there to check it out, and then we can give you a follow-up call.
Police quickly initiated a welfare check on George's father, Gary Ballas. When they arrived, they knocked on the front door, and after receiving no response, the officers forced entry through a side door.
Gary! Akron Police! Gary, it's Akron Police! Gary!
On Thursday, May 21st, Gary Ballas was found dead. It was obvious he'd been dead for a few days, and given the abundance of stab wounds, it was ruled a homicide. An investigation would turn up very little information, except for the fact that Gary's car was missing from the driveway. So next, they started to talk to his neighbors to see if they knew anything about what had happened.
Shit getting sad and scary.
Akron Police! Just wonder if I could talk to you a couple seconds about your neighbor behind you. When's the last time you saw him?
Police go?
Was anybody there with him?
He came over here.
Oh yeah?
Knocked on the door.
What did he say?
He came over to pick flowers out of the yard.
Purple ones?
Lilacs.
Did he have anybody with him when he was there?
He came over here by himself.
Did he have that car there Tuesday?
I don't remember. I was over here.
Right. Do you remember? Do you know what kind of car it is?
Blue station wagon.
Like a Subaru?
Yeah.
Anybody else live here that might have seen him?
My kids
Hey, what's
live
up?
here with me.
Have you seen your neighbor lately?
Bro said, hey, what's up?
No, last time I saw him was like week 4.
The car was there when she took the flowers over. Do you remember?
The car hasn't been there for over a week.
A week? You want to step out here for 1 second? So Gary is deceased. It's looking suspicious. That's why I'm asking you these questions. He hasn't mentioned anybody. You haven't seen anybody. You haven't heard any fighting. So obviously, then maybe it was somebody that's come here before.
It's a little odd for Gary's car not to have been at his place for over a week, especially given Gary was still home. There's a chance that this family could be misremembering, but the cops got exactly the same information from each of the other neighbors.
Hi, sir. Sorry to bother you so late.
No bother.
Okay. Are you familiar with the older gentleman that lives at the blue house across the street?
Yeah, that's Gary.
Gary?
Yeah, that's her. Jeannie. Jeannie. Hey, Jeannie. I want to know if we're familiar with Gary.
What's
He's our neighbor. She used to help him out. She used to babysit his wife.
When's the last time you seen Gary?
In a couple days.
Couple days?
Yeah.
Like,
he was out cutting his grass.
Do you remember what day that was?
Today's what? Thursday.
Yeah, today's Thursday.
Thursday. Probably not Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
He's always out cutting his grass.
Is he? He frequents cutting his grass?
What, is something happened to Gary or?
You were investigating.
Hit the yard. I was just about to say that. I think about doing that.
The only issue was, not a single one of the neighbors could tell the cops who might be driving
I'm
that
gonna give y'all
car.
an update too about
Gary
everything
did
at
have
the end of the
visitors
video.
over somewhat frequently,
After
but
over.
they never used his car.
Good
if
news,
the cops
too.
could figure out where the vehicle was and
Might
who
just have to
took
hit
it,
the yard,
it
man.
seems like they'd
Lock
have a pretty
in.
sure shot at finding the murderer. And that's when they talked to
YouTube,
this
I'ma
couple
blur it out.
who claimed they've seen a new guy around his house recently.
What minutes am I at for editing? 32, 34.
Excuse me, has anybody been over to talk to you guys yet?
No.
Okay.
You know, I called the police out here yesterday, and they didn't even want to go in there.
What did you call them yesterday for?
Because I haven't seen him since Saturday, and it's not like him to leave town and not tell me.
You haven't seen him since Saturday?
Nobody answer that door. You said you guys are positive, though.
It was Saturday he was cutting his grass?
Yeah.
Have you seen the guy with the cane before?
Oh, never seen him before.
Was he white or black? You said he was younger?
Yeah.
His car wasn't there?
No. His car hasn't been there since Sunday.
Okay.
But soon the cops were able to
L
put together
Lunds or
exactly what had happened.
W potency.
It turns out Gary was never in that car with the other man. When his car pulled out of his driveway for the last time, Gary was already dead. But at least they had a description of who they thought the murderer was. And even better, just a short time after, the cops received word that his car had been seen at a gas station on a surveillance camera. Unfortunately, the camera quality was too poor to properly make out his identity, but at least the cops now know without a shadow of a doubt that if they
I'm trying
find
to tell
that
y'all, man, y'all
car,
gotta stop doing that dirt out there, man. They got cameras everywhere, bro.
they can find the man that killed Gary. But it turns out
Dondre.
someone had already done that for them. An unnamed witness came forward and told them that he'd seen that very car and knew precisely who it now belonged to.
Jason came over Saturday morning. He was going to help me work on the house I'm working on.
Do you know Jason's last name?
Shogley, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, something like that. Anyway, he came over, but I had to go to Harbor Freight because I needed a grinder. And so I told him, I said, I got to go to Harbor Freight. He said, oh, I'll take you. And I said, wait a minute, Jason. I said, I'm not getting in no hot car. I said, is that car hot? He said, no, the car is not hot. Uncle Willie, no, I wouldn't do you like that. The car is not hot.
The car this man is talking about is Gary's Subaru. But more importantly, he just mentioned the name of the man they believe killed Benny, Jason Shockley. This was a shocking breakthrough in both cases. Not only have they essentially just solved Gary's murder, but now they're hot on Jason's tail and have more evidence than ever to try and track him down. Back on the scene, they'd also noticed that Gary's credit cards had been stolen, and And this guy's
NBA
story
Reacts
even
uploaded
lines
after
up
stream like
perfectly
usual.
with that, too.
He said, my friend let me use it. He went to Florida. He gave me a credit card, told me to keep gas in it, and I can buy cigarettes and buy me something to eat if I need it. I was kind of like not believing him, but he said, no, really, I swear.
It almost seemed too good to be true, so the detectives asked the witnesses to pick Jason out of a photo lineup, and he pointed straight at him instantly. Jason was now the suspect of a double homicide, and 2 citywide investigations had converged into one.
Bro, was a serial
Every
killer.
single officer and detective in the area knew they couldn't let Jason take another life, so they had to act fast and hunt him down. That's when police received one final phone call, this time from Sarah Evans, Jason's mother. On that call, knowing how dangerous he could be, she decided to give up her own son and told the police the address of his safe house.
Jason, they coming for you, boy.
Which house is it? It's the second one. The one on the right. 1887. Is there a way to get that? I don't know.
It's Jason Cook. Bro's boarded up and shit. Windows open. It's obviously an abandoned.
The house was abandoned, boarded up, and dirty.
Is he going by
It was
himself?
unclear if anyone was even inside, but the cops have to be extremely vigilant
That's
as
what I'm
they
saying.
know Jason could be armed.
It's like one of them COD
Clearing
maps.
the first floor, they moved upstairs
Oh, no,
as a
there's
group
not- there's
and
more, there's
tried
more.
to figure out where Jason
No, all
was
of them
hiding.
strapped. About 5, 6. So upstairs too? Them stairs sound like they'll crack if you just damn stomp on them shits wrong. Boy, Bernard, what up?
Only one door on this floor was fully closed, and every other room was empty. This is where they think Jason is. Problem is, they've already made a lot of noise, so whoever's on the other side of that door could be prepared.
Yeah, they don't.
That's why they decide to storm in.
Ooh, here we go.
Hands! Don't move. Roll over and put them on the top of your head. Roll on your stomach, hands
Bro was taking that hair on that, but hair on or bath salt.
behind your back.
Look how dirty this shit is, man.
Hurry up, Jason.
He's got a knife. It's just disgusting, man.
Anybody else in the house?
Whole room. His nails. Look at his nails, man. This shit like damn near is painted. That's just filled with dirt and fungus, dog. That's another thing, bro. Yo, FTC brothers and sisters, man. Bro, and like anybody, especially guys, man, if you see someone nails is that dirty, bro, do not trust them. Don't sit anywhere near them, bro. Like, dead ass. You're going to either get sick, bro, you're going to come up missing or something. They can't even take, look, bro, if they that dirty on the out, imagine how dirty it is in the inside. It's nasty as fuck, man.
Alright, stand up. You got shoes, bud?
Yes, I do.
Where's your shoes at?
Right underneath the blanket right there.
You want to pat them? Shake them? Yeah. How old are you now, man? You're a kid over there, man, on Johnson Block, man.
Damn. Remember when he was a kid, he said?
Is this nail shut or can you get this open, Jason?
Look, no.
That was you.
I always call it
Oh, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Here he comes.
Alright. Do you know, does anybody one foot at a time? Have anybody else?
Yeah, take him out through the window.
I don't think so. I don't think they even know.
Yeah, we need to get.
Hey man, is Jason cooked? Or is he even the right one?
Just as they
said you
hoped,
would've took off
Jason
running?
was found lying amongst
Bro, they
rubble
would have put
and
about 40 shells in his
trash
back,
on
bro.
the second floor,
You see how many
attempting to hide
cops
away
there?
from the very people who just put him in cuffs. Thankfully, he put up no resistance, and a quick sweep of the house confirmed he was the only person here.
Bro,
Amongst the
first of
trash on
all,
the
bro, how high on whatever drug Jason had to be on to not hear those cops come through his door like that and hear all that banging, hear all that stepping and stuff? Like,
floor, the officers found multiple
Stay off the
knives
drugs,
and a
man.
credit card belonging to Gary Ballas. After 6 weeks of knives and a credit card belonging to Gary Ballas.
Jason might be cooked.
After 6 weeks of investigations, they'd finally caught him. He was then taken out of the house and into the back of a patrol car. But there was still one problem with all of this. They still had no evidence that he was the one who killed Benny all those weeks ago. Sure, the connection is strange and multiple people have accused him, but there's nothing solid. That's what the cops wanted to change in the interrogation room and bring peace to Benny's family almost 2 months after his death. Remember, Jason is likely not aware of exactly how much the cops know. All he knows is that he was arrested and now the cops are interrogating him. He might even think that they don't know about the murders and that he could get away with everything.
How do you know Gary Bayless?
I knew that Gary, like I said, my cousin lived next door, but my mom used to go over and help him out a lot. He gets to telling me about how he hates Donald Trump and everything.
Yeah, he's a Bernie supporter.
Man.
Yeah.
He's out there. He's a trip. Yeah. I asked him, if there'd be a possibility if he can lend me his car so I could get to work and stuff.
Okay.
He was iffy on it for a second, you know what I mean? He doesn't like people using his car and stuff.
Right.
He was like, I'm gonna be happy. He was like, I want to see you, I want to see you succeed. He was like, I want to see you do like, you know that I just got out of prison.
So how long have you had this car for?
I've had this car for a few days.
How long have you known the car?
I've known Gary for almost 9 years.
Oh, wow. So you had a long relationship.
I've stayed a night or two at his house before.
So you've been in the house before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything up until this point is mostly the truth. He did know Gary and he had spent some time with him recently. But remember, he was found with Gary's stolen credit cards
card is weird.
in his stolen car just days after he was murdered. This is shaping up to be a textbook interrogation where the detectives will have to catch him out in various lies in order to extract the truth. And they're about to start that process immediately.
It's not looking good, bro. Somebody has somebody that's not living no more's credit cards and he was found with their car. I mean, what else are you gonna like?
Tell me what happened there.
What do you mean tell you what happened?
I have people that are in the area that see you and him together. He's been deceased since about the same time you seen him. You've got his card and his credit cards.
Okay.
Tell me what happened.
I told you, he lends me his car for work.
Why is his neighbors
You believe in that shit?
He will not lend his car? Everybody's told me
And that's what they're talking about. Look, all that.
They have to bleep out the word crap.
It's crazy.
He's claiming that Gary had lent him his car for work and had used the credit cards he'd left in his car to just buy a few cigarettes. But clearly the cops don't believe him. In fact, this entire questioning segment about Gary is more of a formality. They have much more evidence about this crime than they do Benny's. So their plan is to try and have him confess to Gary's murder so that confessing to Benny's doesn't seem like such a big deal. It seems like a clever strategy, but it won't work if Jason simply refuses to admit to anything.
Wouldn't you agree with us that it's kind of weird that you're the last person that
Yes.
seen with him?
Yes, I find that weird. I see where you guys stand with me. But at the same time, I'm not no dude. That's not, do, man.
Well, sometimes people don't
No.
win, and sometimes people get in an argument.
No. Anybody that knows me will tell you that's not what I do. So what? I smoke some crack. I've been smoking since I was 10 years old. But you know what I do? Some stupid since I was what I do. So what? I smoke some crack. I've been smoking since I was 10 years old. But
hell fucking nah, man. Hell nah, boy. You said that shit like it was regular. The hell you mean? Since you said you just smoked some crack since I was 11 years old, bro. Niggas said that I was like, bro, what you mean? Bro, he was doomed since a young age, bro. That shit straight up sad, bro. Bro, a crackhead at 11 years old? You not even 18. You were a crackhead at 11 years old, bro.
know what I do? Some stupid.
Bro, try to play that off like it was.
If you were a jury and you heard your story about a man who loaned you his car, who has been known not to loan his car to anybody, his family says, his neighbor says so, because if you don't help yourself, this can end up really bad for you.
When confronted with the cold, hard facts, something changes about Jason. He loses his confidence, he's fidgeting with his hands to try and distract himself, he avoids making eye contact with the detective however he can, whether it be looking down at the table, up at the ceiling, or even at the wall next to him. He almost looks ashamed, and that's no illusion. Pay close attention to what he does next, as it marks the beginning of a startling confession.
Even if you did wrong, and the judge, and you admit to what happened and everything else, the judge takes that into consideration because it shows remorse. You want me to turn it off? Stop.
Erase the first.
I'm not erasing anything.
Erase the first one.
I'm not erasing anything. Nothing evidence. I can't do that.
No, erase. I'm saying, if you erase the first one, I'm gonna tell you what we're doing.
There, it's completely off.
Jason thinks that audio recorder is the only thing recording what he's saying right now.
So they just probably did that to just mess with him, to be like, hey, like we were gonna follow what you say.
Somehow he doesn't realize the camera in the corner also has a microphone built in. So now that the audio recorder is off, he thinks he's free to say whatever he wants.
He's over there drinking all this stuff, just talking bullshit. I guess my mom borrowed $20 from him. You know, he was telling me about
Bro, how much money were they borrowing? Bro, side note, guys, before I unpause, yo, don't get in the habit of letting people borrow money, bro. And I will let you know this from experience, bro. Like, yeah, you have your nice moments, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe help your homies out, help the fam out, of course, and stuff like that. But, bro, if it gets to a continuous habit, bro, I say after about, like, 3-4 times, that's when you just got to be like, bro, I don't got it. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, it's kind of hard right now. I don't, you know what I'm saying? You just got to tell them you don't got it, bro. Because, bro, one thing, man, if somebody can feel like that you are a bank to them, even though they know you're not like that or whatever, like you may or may not have it like that, they're gonna just rely on you, bro, from thick and thin. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna get harder and harder to tell them no, and then the times you do tell them no, they're gonna start trying to get you out of character, try to make you feel bad about yourself, try to make you feel like, oh, you're just being fake, bro. Try to bring up all these good things that they did for you. Oh, remember when I paid for your lunch, or I bought those drinks that one night at the bar? You can't cover for me now, man. I got kids, bro. I got bills. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Don't get in the habit of letting people borrow money. After the 3rd or 4th time, bro, cut that shit out, man. Honestly, man, if you really want to be a lot more stiff, I say 2 times.
You know, put yourself out there.
Okay.
You got to talking real crazy behind my eyes, like very free stuff. So, I'm like, you know what, I gotta go. I get up and leave, and he threw this cup at me, and had wine, and then he threw it at me, picked up his knife, I pushed him down, he dropped the knife, and I took the knife. When you push that knife, back into his chair. He said, I'll shoot you. And when he went to reach, I don't.
It was a textbook confession, and the cops did an incredible job.
Y'all believe in that? So he's basically saying this is self-defense. He felt like, you know, Gary was going to pick up his shotgun after the argument. He threw something at him, got the knife, and just stabbed him 33 times. Y'all buying this story?
Job at helping him through it and making him feel comfortable. The thing is, they know this still isn't the whole truth, but it's all they need for now. They could disprove his self-defense story later in court. What matters is that he admitted to it in some respect. Now they can switch gears to Benny's murder,
what happened to
but
Benny?
he's not going to make that one as easy.
You probably are going to prove that you did Benny.
No, because I didn't do Benny.
And you're definitely going to be looking at a capital.
It's gotta be capital murder, bro.
And I'll be looking
Even
at
if that other one was
cases
self-defense, a
and
whole other body,
somebody
weeks later, whatever.
You told us about Gary. It's like Detective Kennedy said, the two cases are like a mirror.
No, you're lying about the cases being similar.
Despite just being finessed into admitting to murder, Jason suddenly thinks he's the smartest person in the room. The cases are almost an exact mirror of each other, but Jason thinks he can escape liability for at least one of them. But he's dead wrong.
And see, here's another thing. You just told us that you went through Gary's pants. You went through Benny's pants too. Because you know, because Benny was known to carry several $100s in his pants pocket.
That I didn't.
Everybody.
No,
Everybody knew.
I didn't.
So
Benny never pulled the money out.
I didn't say that.
Most moms are like, there's no way my kid would do that.
No, she knows for a fact that I didn't do that.
I'm not saying about Benny. I'm just saying your mom's sitting here thinking, it's impossible. It's impossible. What we talked here about.
Just did.
Yeah, we talked about.
She's freaking out. And as far as me asking her if I thought you did it, it was now, hell no. It was, oh my God, I hope not. Jason, do you see what you're...
Listen to me, okay? I done told you about being married, bro. But this shit about Benny was not me.
And despite all the pressure the cops put on him, this is the story he stuck to. It seemed he thought he could maybe convince a jury of one self-defense charge, but two was simply too suspicious. But that didn't matter, as the cops figured they still knew exactly what happened. Jason knew Benny through his mother and had heard about the coffee can of cash. He broke in one morning in an attempt to steal the cash, accidentally waking Benny in the process. They started fighting, and Jason, fearing he'd call the police, stabbed him multiple times. Eventually, Benny crawled out to the hallway where he bled out. They also started to discount his story about Gary's murder. They believed that it wasn't any form of self-defense, and in reality, it was simply a disagreement. Jason had gotten irrationally angry after Gary refused to let him use his car. In his rage, he shoved him to the ground and killed him in the same manner, before stealing his credit cards and leaving in his car.
One thing I'm also noticing about this Jason dude, bro, you literally like only was acting tough and targeting like older dudes. Like, cause I believe Gary, they said he was like, what, like 69 or something, and then the other one was up there in age too. Like, bro, just a weak-minded individual, man. Going back to what I'm saying, man, don't be letting people borrow money, bro. Like, how do you feel entitled to make somebody borrow their car that they worked hard for? He said no, and then you felt like you can push them on the ground, and, bro.
These are the theories that the prosecution presented to the jury.
You tell, I can just, bro, body language and all this Jason dude, he would never try anybody that fuck it, is not even under the age of 30 years old, bro. Only targeted older people, vulnerable people, bro, that can barely move, that can't defend themselves like that.
Only one person was charged in the murders of Benny King and Gary Ballas. Justin, Johnny, and Sarah were all ruled innocent. But Jason wasn't so lucky. In 2022, he was convicted of both of the murders and sentenced to life in prison. If you're interested in watching our uncensored, extended 2 to 4 hour coverages of these original cases, make sure to check.
Justice served 1 in the chat, or 2 no. I mean, got what he got coming to him, man. I mean, there's a few things about this entire story, man. I mean, from the get-go, Jason's entire life was just basically just like cooked from the get-go. He was talking about him bragging at 11 years old, he was already a crackhead. Like, I don't know what the fuck his mom was doing, bro, but his mom just straight up just did not care about and did not take being a parent seriously whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no reason why, as the mom was just, she seems like she's functioning right and just moving on through life and just getting through survival life, whatever and stuff. And your son is a whole crackhead, getting out of prison, robbing people and shit. Then he's over here sticking up older people in the neighborhood, bro. Like, dude just didn't have no hope and no future, you know? Now, obviously, at the end of the day, no matter if it's the parent or not, you can't really blame everything on them because it is up to the person for them to make those decisions, bro. But, hey, man, it's just another story. It's just somebody who was just cooked from the get-go, man, and just had no hope. Sad, man. Prayers to the family of the two deceased and stuff. Hey, man, wrap it up.